You're only 18, yet your assets are in the trillions. But your friends and family sneer at you, all because your fiancé, on the day you were to register your marriage, wasn't just off on a trip to Antarctica with her male secretary, but also had his father expose you on live, facing everyone's accusations and insults. You decided to give their whole family a game-over package. Do you think this is some female-oriented diorama? As a male lead in a power fantasy, I won't take this crap. By evening, you were sitting in the back of a stretched hongqi, waiting for your fiancé, Wen, to show up. Seeing the civil affairs office staff about to clock off, she still hadn't arrived. And then your phone rang. You answered the call. Your assistant's urgent voice came through. Mr. Su, we've tracked Miss Wen's whereabouts. She's in Antarctica watching the snow with Chen Xiaoyu. You gave a faint You hung up without showing any emotion. Then, you dialed Wan's number. It rang for a long time before she finally picked up. Wan's voice was as gentle as ever. Su Chen, I have an urgent matter here. I'm afraid I can't register our marriage with you today. Let's talk in half a month. You laughed. Your tone was mocking. Is going to Antarctica with your secretary more important than marriage? Wan's voice immediately turned cold. Don't judge a gentleman by your own petty standards. Chen Xiaoyu and I are perfectly innocent. It's not as filthy as you think. It's not safe for him to be in Antarctica alone. As his bot, what's wrong with me accompanying him? You smiled and took a drag of your cigarette. You make a good point. He's a grown man, needing a delicate woman like you to protect him. And it just happens to be on the day we were supposed to marry. Wan grew more annoyed and was about to snap. But you hung up on her directly. You just shook your head. Her family begged and pleaded for years, finally managing to secure this engagement. It's a pity. The Su family is the richest in Haicheng, but the Wen family hasn't caught any market trends lately. Plus, their younger generation is greedy and incompetent. Their influence has long since faded. If not for the pact between the grandfathers, and the fact that Wen fits your aesthetic, and your grandfather likes her, the Wen family wouldn't even be qualified to marry into yours. Since Wen doesn't know what's good for her, you don't mind calling off the engagement before she returns. Just as you decided to cut off aid to the Wen family, a mechanical prompt suddenly rang in your mind. Congratulations, host, for being dumped on your wedding day. You've encountered the strongest second male lead trope, activating the reverse abuse system. You raised an eyebrow. The name alone makes the system sound shady. Does anyone actually want this system? Chen Xiaoyu, that low-level green tea guy, is actually called the strongest second male lead? This system is clearly unreliable. Sensing your dissatisfaction with it, the system continued its mechanical response. This world is a collection of abuse trope events. The system can provide the host with various abilities. As long as the host works hard, you can accumulate billions in wealth in a short time and reach the pinnacle of life. Chen Xiaoyu is the second male lead of this world with countless backers. Please, host, do not underestimate him. You loosened your collar. You couldn't care less about the system's words. System, why don't you take a closer look? Did you bind to the wrong person? The system actually thinks my wealth would drop to a mere billion? What a terrifying punishment. You aren't from this world. In your previous life, you were an ordinary office worker. 20 years ago, you transmigrated into this world, born into the wealthy Su family of Haicheng. You held the script of a power fantasy protagonist. You've been talented at everything since childhood. Investment, combat, shooting, painting, sculpting. You could easily reach the top in any field. You could say you've never faced a setback. If you had to name one, Wen would be it. The two of you grew up together as childhood sweethearts. Chen Xiaoyu was an intern who joined Wan's company half a year ago, and they've been getting cozy behind your back. You never paid much attention before, which gave them the chance to sneak around. Though you and Wan have history, it's not much. Now, you're just disgusted by it. You signaled the driver to head back to the Su estate. On the way, you ordered your secretary to cut all ties with the Wen family. You argued with the system for a long time, but it just gave you the eye of insight and went silent. It felt like it really had bound to the wrong person. This guy's luck is heaven-defying. This is a living nightmare. You couldn't be bothered with it. Besides, in an abused world, the Lu family is the major clan, right? If he's the strongest second male lead, why is his surname Chen? The car returned to the Su estate. You don't lie living in the city center, so you lie in the villa area of Moon Manor. Back at the villa, you lazily got out of the car in a perfectly tailored suit, with your collar slightly open. Your muscular frame was partially visible, paired with your sharp brows and bright eyes, and a wicked, playful smile. You were a walking heartthrob. The maids saw you and their eyes lit up. They watched your back as you walked inside. Mr. Su is as mesmerizing as ever. Yeah, and his personality is so good too. Unlike other young masters who are so moody. Stop it. I'll just swoon by myself. Stop daydreaming and get back to work. Although you are ruthless in the business world, you are quite easygoing in your daily life. As long as they don't overstep, you are quite tolerant. That's why the maids respect you, but aren't afraid of you. You entered the house. You grabbed a Coke from the fridge. Nothing beats a cold Coke in the summer. You leaned on the sofa to think. On the way home, you used the eye of insight, but didn't get any useful information. For instance, the maids and the butler at home are just ordinary people. Your parents are traveling abroad. The old couple is enjoying their leisure, posting selfies on social media every day. You took over the Su family business long ago. You have absolute control over the family assets. Regarding Wen breaking off the engagement today, you plan to tell your parents later. Not even 2 minutes later, your phone started ringing incessantly. The caller ID showed Wen Fu. You smiled and answered the call before you could even speak. Wen Fu's urgent voice came through. He exchanged a few pleasantries first, then stated his purpose. Little Su, I just heard about what happened. Wanner is still young. Please forgive her just this once. The Wen family missed the market trends, and their family business is shrinking rapidly. They were just waiting for Su Chen to inject capital to save them. Originally, the two were childhood sweethearts, and in Wen Fu's eyes, it was a sure thing. Who knew Wan would pull a stunt like this? You didn't answer. Just took a sip of your cold Coke. You had a mischievous smirk on your face. You replied nonchalantly, Uncle Wan, I've thought it over carefully. Maybe Wan and Chen Xiaoyu are the perfect match. I wish them well. I'm sure Chen Xiaoyu is so talented. He'll surely be able to solve the Wen family's troubles. This old man isn't a good person either. He's just after your money. If you really became family, spending some money wouldn't be a big deal. But since Wan dared to do this, she has to pay the price. Wen Fu was stunned when he heard this. A threat, a naked, blatant threat. Yet he didn't dare to resist. He had to swallow his anger and play the emotional card. Little Su, don't say things in anger. You and Wanner have over 10 years of history. If others don't understand her, don't you understand her? Wen Fu hated Chen Xiaoyu to his core. If it weren't for that brat seducing his daughter, how could things have reached this point? He also secretly blamed Su Chen for not being able to keep a woman in check. Truly useless. But no matter how Wen Fu tried to persuade him, Su Chen stuck to his words. He wouldn't care about the Wen family's affairs anymore. An arm can't twist a thigh. Su Chen isn't someone he can provoke. Wen Fu was furious after hanging up the phone because he just received a report from his subordinates that Su Chen had terminated all their contracts. This news almost gave him a brain hemorrhage. He had hoped that once they registered their marriage, he could squeeze some benefits out of Su Chen. Now it's all over. Wen Fu didn't dare dare to vent his anger on Su Chen, so he dialed Wenwan's number and said, "No matter where you are, get back here immediately and go apologize to Su Chen. Otherwise, you are no longer my daughter." Wenwan had lived in luxury since she was a child, enjoying every privilege. Now that the family is in a crisis, can't she do something for the family? If she won't help, fine, but how can she drag the Wen family down? At least get married, get the funds, then go play. At this moment, Wenwan was walking through the snowy mountains with Chen Xiaoyu. The two were walking shoulder to shoulder, hand in hand. Wenwan didn't take her father's words seriously. "Alright, I'm just out here playing with Xiaoyu. What's there to make such a fuss about? Su Chen is just saying things in anger. Don't take it to heart." She thought about her relationship with him. She believed you wouldn't dare break up over something so small. Beside her, Chen Xiaoyu heard her confrontation with her father and couldn't help but lean into her arms. He persuaded her considerately. "Wanner, it's all my fault. A poor person like me shouldn't have let you spend millions to travel the world." When Wan pulled him into her arms, her eyes full of heartache, her tone was filled with pity. "No, you deserve the best." When Fu's face turned red with anger, he couldn't help but burst out. "You call this a small matter? The day of your marriage registration. Dating a wild man behind your fiancé's back is a small matter, and that good-for-nothing thing beside you. You don't get a say in this. If you have no money, go earn it. Do you only know how to be capped?" He was truly furious. How could his daughter be this stupid? When Wan already felt Chen Xiaoyu was pitiful, and hearing him being scolded so mercilessly by her father, she got angry too. "Fine. You don't care about me. Instead, you think I'm wrong. I'll explain this to Su Chen when I get back. You don't need to worry about it." After Wenwan said this, she hung up the phone directly. When Fu smashed his phone on the ground in anger, panting heavily as he slumped onto the sofa. Fine. I don't believe I can control you." He called his secretary. He immediately cut off Wenwan's supplementary credit card. He wanted to see, without money, how they would continue to play around outside. As long as Wenwan marries a rich man, anyone will do. Su Chen is fine. Chen Xiaoyu is also fine. If there's anyone to blame, it's that Chen Xiaoyu is just an ordinary person. On the other side, not long after you hung up, the villa door was pushed open. Before the person arrived, the subtitles appeared first. What caught your eyes was a line of text. Name, Qianhua. Identity, one of the abused male leads. Attributes, simp. Intelligence, pursuing Chen Xiaoyu's sister, Chen Roer, because she thinks he's just an ordinary doctor. She looks down on him. She keeps him on a string while looking for a better sugar daddy. Outcome, deceived by Chen Roer, eventually scammed out of his money and dignity. Ending, left penniless and alone, with nothing but his vast wealth gone. Mission, help him break free from his simp status. Reward, a mysterious gift package. The coke you had just taken a sip of almost sprayed out. Good grief, the abused protagonist is right here with me. Qianhua has been your close friend for years. His family background is ordinary, but his medical skills are unbelievably good. So, after becoming your personal doctor, Qianhua's clothes are all custom-made. Ordinary people can't tell the price, which is why Chen Roer thinks he's a poor kid. Seeing your strange look, Qianhua felt a chill. "Don't scare me. Stop looking at me like that." He vaguely remembered the last time you smiled like that. A major family went bankrupt 3 days later. You shook your head silently, tossing him a cigarette. "Fine. I'll treat you to one." Qianhua took the cigarette speechlessly. This old friend's mind is too erratic. Sometimes he can't keep up. Without waiting for him to ask, Su Chen already pulled out his phone and made another call. Within 5 minutes, I want all her information. The assistant acknowledged the order. "I'll arrange for someone to investigate immediately." When Qianhua heard the name Chen Roer, his expression changed. "Su Chen, did this Chen Roer offend you? He knows how powerful his friend's reach is in China. Just the Su family company he inherited is worth over 100 billion, and the number of companies under Su Chen's name is countless. No one knows exactly how much wealth he possesses. Even his parents only know a rough estimate. For him to investigate an ordinary person is just too simple." Qianhua sat opposite Su Chen, looking at him nervously. He has always been a calm person, rarely showing such panic. Su Chen lit his cigarette, sighed deeply, and said, "Qianhua, I really didn't expect you to be this kind of person." Qianhua was confused. "What do you mean?" Su Chen blew a smoke ring, a playful smirk on his lips. "I treat you like a brother, and you're out there acting like a dog for a woman, and a simp at that. With his 1.83 meter height and gentle, refined looks, he could easily be a protagonist anywhere. With a face like that, why do you have to be a simp?" Qianhua connected the dots and realized what he meant. He rubbed his forehead in distress, his expression returning to calm. "Don't misunderstand. Roer and I are in true love." "She's just testing me." Su Chen flicked the ash off his cigarette, unimpressed. "Testing you? What kind of nonsense is that? I'm just curious how you two met." Seeing you bring up this question, a look of nostalgia flashed across Qianhua's face, and a happy smile curled his lips. He began to explain, unusually talkative. "It was an afternoon a few months ago. My cat got lost. When I found her, her fur was soft and clean. Clearly, someone had been feeding her. Just then, I saw Roer feeding her. In that very moment, she was so beautiful and pure. That cat was before she passed, so it has a very special meaning to her." Su Chen was disgusted. Stop. She feeds a cat and you fall in love?" Qianhua shrugged, helpless. Does loving someone need a reason? If you lie someone, you lie them. The look of deep affection on his face was something Su Chen was seeing for the first time. Doctors really can't treat themselves. Love blindness is incurable. This brother of yours usually looks so calm. How did he become like this when it comes to women? Just then, Su Chen's phone received the detailed report on Chen Roer. Su Chen took a quick look, secretly sighing at how wild these young people are. Besides photos of her trading favors with sugar daddies. When Su Chen saw the later records, his smile became even more peculiar. Su Chen handed the phone to Qianhua. "Chen Roer has a history of abusing stray cats. Are you sure she was feeding them and not torturing them to death?" Qianhua's eyes widened upon seeing the news, his thumbs twitching uncontrollably. "Roer, she's not that kind of woman." He couldn't connect the vicious woman in the report to Chen Roer. There must be a misunderstanding. If it wasn't Roer feeding the cat, then who could it be? Su Chen knew this was a huge blow to him. He patted his shoulder gently. "Forget it, I'll take you somewhere, and you'll understand. Better a short pain than a long one." He decided to let his brother experience the cruelest scene in the world, to let him wear a cold, heart-wrenching green crown in this hot summer. Qianhua felt that your smile was very ill-intentioned. His heart was a mix of emotions. Could Roer have really lied to him? Su Chen had the butler prepare the car. On the way, Qianhua felt vaguely uneasy. After much deliberation, he still called Chen Roer. It rang for a long time, but no one picked up. After a long while, he finally received a reply. "Qianji, I'm at home cooking. I'll call you back when I'm done." Su Chen felt his friend's head getting greener by the second. Half an hour later, they arrived at the Fengyue Hotel. Qianhua's face was as dark as a pot. His steps were a bit shaky. He recognized this hotel. It's a hotel for couples. No matter how much Qianhua didn't want to believe it, he had to face the facts. He ran toward the second floor. When they reached the second floor, Su Chen pointed upstairs. Qianhua's eyes widened in disbelief. "What? She's on the third floor? The second floor is floor." Normal couples use the third floor, which usually involves some abnormal hobbies. Lots of tools, countless ways to play. Qianhua thought, no matter what, Chen Roer wouldn't go to the third floor with someone. Su Chen didn't know how to comfort him. Forget it, since she's Chen Xiaoyu's sister, I'll add some special services. They had just reached the 3rd floor when the Ma Najio hurried over, respectfully handing over a room key. Mr. Su, here's the key to room 303. Su Chen took the key and tossed it in his palm. The entire Fengyue Hotel belongs to him. Otherwise, how could they have gotten to the 3rd floor so easily? Xianhua couldn't wait to rush in. As a man, no one could remain rational in this situation. Su Chen called over 2 maids who were cleaning. Little girls, do you have any close female friends here? Xianhua was burning with anxiety, too busy to think about what that meant. No, why? Su Chen patted the 2 girls, whispering something in their ears. These 2 smart, capable girls, who came from poor backgrounds, were the ones he especially hired for the hotel. Su Chen didn't explain, just swiped the card to unlock the door. Just as he was about to break in, the sound of conversation came from inside. She wants an LV bag. As long as you're my B-Buy, I'll buy you whatever you want. By the way, your doctor boyfriend called you. I'll always belong to you. At most, I'll marry her later. Good, after you 2 get married, I'll help you plant some seeds. Amidst their conversation, there were also sounds of slapping and the moans of a woman. Xianhua kicked the door open. Seeing the scene inside, he froze on the spot. His delicate and pure Chenroer. Her fair, tender skin had clear bite marks on it. Her youthful face had a seductive charm. A fat, middle-aged man. Their attire. Well, there was no need to say more. There was nothing left to say. Chenroer saw Xianhua kick the door open, panicking as she tried to cover herself. Xianji, how did you get here? But he couldn't move. Xianhua's eyes were bloodshot. His refined temperament vanished, the sorrow passing in an instant, replaced by towering rage. He glared viciously at the fat man, raised his fist, and charged. He had misjudged the person, Xianhua realized, but he had to vent this anger. Xianhua's movements were fast, but Su Chen's were faster. In 2 steps, he passed him and delivered a whip kick, landing it squarely on the man's face. This whip kick was clean, sharp, and incredibly sealed. The fat man's 200-pound body was sent flying, crashing directly into the glass cabinet by the bed, shattering it to pieces. The man spat blood and foam, rolling on the floor in pain, unable to recover for a long time. Su Chen then slowly leaned against the corner of the wall. Alright, it's your turn. Xianhua is cool at surgery, but his fighting skills are mediocre. The size difference between his brother and the opponent was too great, so it was better to handle the opponent for him first. Xianhua didn't even hear what he said, his brain filled with nothing but rage. He lunged forward, his heart shattered. The woman he loved was nothing but a lie. Su Chen watched, arms crossed, as the final act of this drama unfolded. The simp was finally waking up. He rushed forward and threw a flurry of punches. He rained blows down on the man's head. Chenroer watched this bloody scene, shaking all over in terror. She couldn't even cover herself, staring in fear at Su Chen and Xianhua. Stop, please stop. You'll kill him if you keep going. Su Chen had almost forgotten him until he spoke. I almost forgot about you. Hearing this, Chenroer turned pale, frantically trying to explain herself. Don't hit me. Please don't. This has nothing to do with me. He forced me into this. Su Chen waved his hand dismissively. Don't be silly. I don't hit women. Hearing this, Chenroer felt a bit less afraid, but the moment Su Chen finished speaking, 2 waitresses burst into the room. Seeing Chenroer, they didn't hesitate, grabbing her by the hair and delivering a powerful slap. Mr. Qian is such a good man. How could you bear to betray him? If Mr. Qian hadn't taken pity on our background, we never would have found this job. Even if we lose our jobs today, we're going to get justice for Mr. Qian. The 2 women stood on either side. Chenroer's fair face was slapped to the left, then whipped back to the right. She had to endure the storm of slaps. Su Chen clicked his tongue inwardly. Women are truly more ruthless. They're really going for it, I must say. The slapping sounds are quite rhythmic. In no time at all, Chenroer's face was swollen. The 2 women showed no sign of stopping. They kicked her in the chest, toppling the shelf over, and pinned her to the ground to beat her. Su Chen checked his watch, feeling a bit of pity. That's enough. I know you're grateful to Xianhua, but don't overdo it. Half an hour is plenty. Chenroer was dazed from the beating, and nearly fainted upon hearing that. In just this short time, her body was covered in palm and shoe prints. If they really beat her for half an hour, even if she didn't die, she'd be left with half a life. Only when he felt Xianhua had vented enough, did Su Chen pull her over, giving him a meaningful look, looking at the man on the floor, covered in blood. Unable to move, he flicked his cigarette butt onto the fat man. With a cold smile, let's leave it at this for today. That's enough for now. As for the compensation for my friend, and my fee for stepping in, someone will come to discuss it with you tomorrow. He ignored the fat man, who was writhing in pain, and walked out with Xianhua and the waitresses. The fat man lay on the floor, gasping for air, scraped by the glass shards. His face was covered in cuts, burning with pain. His injuries looked severe, but they weren't actually that bad, except for the first few punches. Xianhua had been very measured. The subsequent blows were meant to cause agony, but not to kill him. It took a long time for Chenroer to recover. She hurriedly grabbed her clothes, stumbling as she put them on. The door was still open. He'd been beaten for over 10 minutes, yet no staff had come to track. Chenroer never expected this to happen. Her delicate makeup was ruined by the beating, and she was a mess of tears and snot. She must look hideous right now. She ran to the bed, helping the fat man up. Mr. Zhao, I didn't know he would come today. That bastard actually dared to hurt you. We can't let him get away with this. She hated Xianhua to the core. She had everything planned out. Marrying Xianhua, while providing some fun for Mr. Zhao. Everyone would benefit. Why not? But this bastard had to show up, and even dared to hit Mr. Zhao. And those 2 women dared to slap her. Zhao Wuliang was furious when he saw her. He backhanded her with a slap. He put all his weight into it. This slap made Chenroer see stars. A warm trim flowed from her nose, staining her lips. It's all your fault. You damn bitch. If it weren't for you, this wouldn't have happened. Zhao Wuliang stormed out of the room. He didn't know Xianhua, but he knew Su Chen. This is a man who, with a single stomp, can shake the entire city of Haicheng and even half of China. He had to apologize even after being beaten. Otherwise, if they came looking for him, it would be even harder to resolve. But he had no choice. When the situation is against you, you have to bow. Chenroer huddled in the corner of the bed, not understanding why he was acting like this when she was just trying to help him up. That damn fat pig. He's not even half as gentle as Xianhua. He's ugly and violent. If it weren't for his money, a man like him wouldn't even be fit to polish her shoes. Chenroer took a while to calm down. She swore to take revenge on Xianhua and Su Chen, but she knew she couldn't win today. The Hotel Managio probably knew Xianhua, otherwise no one would have ignored the noise for so long. Chenroer put on her clothes. She was wearing a short white skirt, unable to hide the whip marks and bruises. She opened the door, ready to sneak away. Just as she reached the door, she saw the 2 waitresses who had slapped her. The women smiled when they saw her, looking very respectful, completely different from their earlier rage. "Miss, you haven't paid yet. You can't leave just like that." Chen Roar was still hurting from the beating. She shivered when she saw them. Speaking weakly, "Didn't Mr. Zhao already pay for the room?" The two women exchanged a smile, pointing inside. The guest inside. "The furniture in the room is damaged. You need to pay for the damages before you leave." One woman blocked her path, while the other went into the room, checking things out as she spoke. "The nightstand, the wooden frame, and the carpet. That will be 88,000 in total. Will you be paying by card or cash, miss?" Donghua Hotel is a high-end establishment, especially the third floor. It's a place for people with special tastes, who are willing to spend money. This quote was perfectly reasonable. Donghua Hotel never scams its guests. Chen Roar turned red with anger, shivering uncontrollably. Weren't these caused by you? She hadn't broken these things. It was them who broke things while beating her. Why should she have to pay? But she was truly terrified, her legs turning to jelly at the sight of them, and there were no cameras in the room. Chen Roar had no choice. She went back into the room to call her family. Before closing the door, she heard the women talking. Being a mistress and getting played like that. She doesn't even have 80,000 on her. What kind of poor sugar daddy did she find? Who knew this idiot would lose so much for so little? They didn't recognize Su Chen or Qianhua, but the Hotel Managio had personally given Su Chen the keycard. The Managio is a big shot himself. They'd never seen him suck up to anyone like that. Such a person's status is unimaginable. Chen Xiaoyu was resting at the hotel when he suddenly received a call from his sister. He was puzzled. Why would his sister call him at this hour? When Wan was out, so he didn't think much of it, and answered the phone. "Roar, why are you calling me at this time?" Before she left, she had instructed him not to disturb her at this time. She planned to win over Wan during their Antarctic trip, so he could lie a life of luxury. Chen Roar heard his voice, and began to sob. "Brother, I was beaten. They want me to pay 100,000. I don't have that much money. Can you give me some first?" Chen Xiaoyu frowned at the amount. Why so much? She had just started working. She didn't have any money. If it weren't for Wan being rich and willing to look after him, he wouldn't even be able to afford the Antarctic trip. Just then, Wan pushed the door open and walked in. Seeing him looking so troubled, her heart ached. She reached out and took his hand. "What's wrong, Xiaoyu? Did you run into some trouble?" Chen Xiaoyu saw her come in and turned his head away stubbornly. "Wan or Jie, my sister is being bullied by a Hotel in Haicheng. They're demanding 100,000 in compensation. I can borrow some, so I'll manage. I won't trouble you." Seeing the young man's distress, Wan felt heartbroken. "You just started working. Where would you get that much money? Since it's a Hotel in Haicheng, I'll just call Su Chen. He can handle it for you. As long as it's in Haicheng, no one would dare not give Su Chen face." Chen Xiaoyu said understandingly. "You were already misunderstood by Mr. Su because of me. Let's not do that." Wan slid her fingers across his palm, stroking it soothingly. "It's Oku. He's not that petty. Given his status, he can have his assistant handle this easily." When Wan took out her phone and messaged Su Chen, their engagement was just a family arrangement. Besides, she was just traveling with Xiaoyu. Nothing had happened between them. She still maintained her boundaries. Su Chen must have been speaking in anger earlier. He wouldn't really break off the engagement. But after she finished editing and sent the message, she realized she had been blocked. "That bastard actually blocked me." She felt a bit uneasy, so she quickly called Su Chen, but she found that her number was blocked too. When Wan's pretty face flushed with anger, she was furious. Just because of this petty man actually stopped talking to me. She hadn't done anything wrong. She was just taking a subordinate on a trip. She was worried about Xiaoyu being afraid of the dark, so they stayed in the same room, but they slept in separate beds. Su Chen just didn't understand her good intentions. Chen Xiaoyu saw her ugly expression and patted her back gently, calming her down. "Don't be angry, Wan or Jia. It's all my fault." It's no wonder Mr. Su was angry. "I can borrow the money by making a few calls." When Wan had lost face in front of him, so how could she let him borrow money? Even though Chen Xiaoyu tried to refuse, she transferred the 100,000 anyway. Chen Xiaoyu's eyes welled up with tears, his tone becoming even more guilty. He fell into her arms. "Thank you, Waner. If you weren't here, I really wouldn't know what to do." When Wan hugged him for a few seconds, her heart racing uncontrollably. "It's Oku, Xiaoyu. It's only right for a bot to help a subordinate. I think of you as my younger brother." She still had her boundaries. She was going to marry Su Chen soon. Once she married him, she would be Mrs. Su. Those who looked down on the Wen family would have to answer to her, regardless of looks or power. Chen Xiaoyu couldn't compare to Su Chen. It was just that Chen Xiaoyu was obedient, giving her a sense of conquest. It felt completely different from Su Chen. What Wan didn't realize was that she only had 105,000 left in her oath cell. After transferring 100,000 to Chen Roar, she only had 5,000 left. This was the last bit of dignity her father had left her. Money for her travel back from the Antarctic. On the other side, Chen Roar got the money and immediately became arrogant. "Damn it, my brother's girlfriend is the Wen family heiress. When she gets back, I'll make those two bitches pay." If it weren't for her brother acting so high and mighty, refusing to accept the heiress's help, she wouldn't have been forced to become a mistress for vanity. She pushed the door open and paid the women. She wanted to say something harsh, but seeing the look in their eyes, she didn't dare to speak. She glared at them and hurried out of the hotel. As soon as her brother returned, she would make those two women kneel and beg for forgiveness. Su Chen and Xianhua had long since left the hotel, riding in a car toward the villa. Xianhua's last shred of hope was completely shattered. Whether it was the wanton moans or the fawning expressions, it was completely different from the Chen Roar he remembered. Thinking of how she acted innocent and weak in front of him, but was a common slut in front of others. A dark look flashed in Xianhua's eyes. An inexplicable emotion surged in his heart. Are women born actors? He didn't need any more evidence. He was certain that the one feeding the cat wasn't Chen Roar. Xianhua was silent for a long time before whispering his thanks. If Su Chen hadn't helped him today, he would still be kept in the dark. Thinking about it, Chen Roar had shown many signs of being suspicious while they were together. It was just the beautiful thing from their first meeting that made him ignore the details. Su Chen was both amused and annoyed. "I told you not to be so low-key. Don't be so low-key." If outsiders knew Qianhua was his private doctor and was close to him, Chen Roar wouldn't have gone to lick someone else's boots. She would have been licking yours. Qianhua was also full of anger. Chen Roar said she hated rich people because her brother's girlfriend was forced by a rich man to leave him. She had to be with the other guy. He hadn't been hiding his wealth. He wore what he always wore. Xianghua believed trust was the most important thing in a relationship, but he never expected Chen Rower to be so blind. She actually thought he was a pauper. Su Chen glanced at him before making a call. He could guess what the brother's girlfriend Shitari was about. It was definitely about Wenwan. Just as he thought. Chen Xiaoyu was good at twisting the truth. He was clearly a homewrecker, yet he painted himself as the victim. There was no satisfaction in playing against this level of opponent. I'll handle it for you. You won't go soft, will you? If this kid dared to tell him to just let it go, Su Chen would definitely kick him out of the car. Being deceived and acting as a simp for a while is fine. Everyone has a moment of blindness, but knowing the truth and not taking revenge, that would truly make him a simp. Xianghua hesitated for a moment. They had been together for months, but thinking of Chen Rower and Zhao Wuliang's conversation and how she planned to marry him and cheat on him, Xianghua closed his eyes and said gloomily, fine, that Zhao Wuliang. How do you want to handle him? With his friend's methods, Chen Rower was as good as dead. If she wasn't dead after offending Su Chen, it only meant he wanted to torture her before killing her. Su Chen asked with a smile, how many days do you think he has left? He called his assistant first, telling him to have the lawyer sue Chen Rower. Over the past few months, Xianghua had spent a fortune on that stupid woman, taking her to high-end places. It was just that the places were so high-end that Chen Rower couldn't even tell the real level of consumption. He had to make her spit it all back out. Then he would play with her slowly. With one phone call, everything was arranged. The two returned to the villa. Xianghua was depressed and wanted to stay there and get drunk. Su Chen gestured for him to sit. Don't rush. Someone else is coming soon. Xianghua thought about it and agreed. The stage was set. The main character had to be there. On the other side, Wen's father had received the notification for the supplementary card. Seeing Wenwan transfer 100,000 in one go, his anger subsided slightly. This girl knew how to correct her mistakes. As long as she could make amends, Su Chen might give her another chance. He had only left her enough for travel expenses, freezing all her other cards. She must have realized his determination and bought a ticket to rush back to Haicheng. Wen's father didn't ask Su Chen to look after his company like before. As long as they could continue to cooperate, the Wen family could recover. Zhao Wuliang had been rushing around, begging everyone he knew. Finally finding out Su Chen's address. Don't look at how high and mighty he was in front of Chen Rower. With his company's value, he didn't even have the qualifications to meet Su Chen. By the time he rushed to Mingyuan Manor, an hour had passed. Standing outside Su Chen's villa, he felt the gap between them even more clearly. Haicheng land is worth its weight in gold, especially this quiet villa area that is so close to the city center. He had asked around before. Even a small villa in Mingyuan Manor was worth his entire net worth, and the Yulong garden where Su Chen lived was the most valuable villa in the manor. Rumor had it that it sold for 1.1 billion at auction. Zhao Wuliang felt even more terrified. He didn't know if Su Chen would forgive him. The fact that someone of his status didn't even bring bodyguards, but personally took his doctor to vent his anger, was enough to prove their relationship. He was truly in deep trouble. Zhao Wuliang arrived at the villa gate just as he was about to knock. The gate opened automatically. The guards at the gate ignored him, obviously because Su Chen knew he would come and had notified them in advance. After all, not just any trash was qualified to enter Yulong Garden. The more this was the case, the more Zhao Wuliang feared. He felt his every thought was under the other's control. The villa was huge. Without a servant to lead the way, he wouldn't even find the main house. The bodyguard captain saw Zhao Wuliang and his eyes lit up, as if he had seen prey. He searched him, and after confirming he had no dangerous items, he led him into the house. Bodyguard Captain Long Outyan breathed a sigh of relief, looking very satisfied. Finally, we can do something for Mr. Su. The other bodyguards echoed him. Yeah, ever since the Master and Mistress went abroad, Mr. Su hasn't needed us. We're so jealous of the ones who went with him. At least they have some value. Otherwise, taking a salary for nothing makes me uneasy. But when someone dared to attack him, they often didn't even have time to react before Su Chen had already dealt with them. As the saying goes, porcelain shouldn't fight with tiles. But if the porcelain is harder than a diamond drill, then it doesn't matter. Zhao Wuliang was led into the house by a servant. When he saw Su Chen, he forced a fawning smile. Su Chen was sitting on the sofa, crossing his legs, holding a cigarette in his left hand. On the table sat an exquisite wine glass, filled with a dark brown liquid that was bubbling. Zhao Wuliang was stunned. Is that cola in his glass? But he had no time to worry about that. He kept begging for mercy. Mr. Su, please show mercy. Forgive me this time. Brother, you can make any demand. I will definitely satisfy you. As Zhao Wuliang spoke, he knelt down very willingly. His movements were smooth and fluid. Su Chen raised his eyes slightly, a look of great appreciation in his gaze. Not bad. What is professionalism? This is what you call professional. What a sincere attitude for an apology. The movements were fluid and smooth, flawless. Su Chen slightly raised his eyes. A look of great admiration appeared in his eyes. Nai, what does professional mean? This is what professional means. How sincere this apology is. Compared to the Wen family who just made a call, Zhao Wuliang is showing much more sincerity. Seeing him stay silent, Zhao Wuliang panicked even more without terms. It's not the terms that scare me, it's the silence. Mr. Su, let's do this. I was wrong about what happened. I'm willing to pay Mr. Qian 100 million as compensation for this. This is all the liquid capital he has. He planned this before arriving. After all, having offended Su Chen, he wouldn't get away without a heavy loss. Su Chen doesn't need money, just an attitude. So he didn't wipe the blood off his face, hoping to look a bit more pathetic. Maybe if he looks miserable enough, the punishment will be lighter. Xianghua felt annoyed seeing that bloody face, but thinking the guy won't last long, he lost the urge to hit him. Su Chen looked at Xianghua and said softly, Lao Qian, you're not short on cash. Forget the compensation. I'll start a company for you later. You can play at being an 11 IO too. Save yourself from being looked down on. Xianghua's expression remained cold as he pursed his lips. Being an 11 IO is fine, I guess. Zhao Wuliang chimed in quite tactfully. Mr. Qian, I'm willing to transfer 10% of my company shares to you. The company under his control was a foundation built by his ancestors. Zhao Wuliang held as much as 70% of the equity, giving him absolute controlling power. The shareholders meeting was basically his show to make Su Chen lose his anger. Giving away 10% was a small price to pay. Su Chen placed his phone on the table, smiled, and waved it off. Forget it. What's the point of being a minority shareholder? Not even the biggest one, so going there and playing second fiddle is pointless. We don't want any compensation. Xianghua wasn't much of a talker, sitting quietly on the side. Zhao Wuliang had heard Su Chen was devious and cunning, but didn't expect such a massive demand. Yet he had no room to resist. Just lie when he dared to bully Chen Rower, because in his eyes, Xianghua was just a commoner. So even if he messed with her in front of him, it would be an honor for Xianghua. Now the situation had shifted. Zhao Wuliang felt instantly drained, his spine softening as his strength left him. 51% of the company shares transferred. Mr. Qian, I'll handle the handover tomorrow. Seeing his sincere attitude, Su Chen didn't want to push further. Since Mr. Zhao is so sincere, it's hard to refuse such kindness. As Zhao Wuliang stood up, his legs were shaking uncontrollably. Just for messing with a woman, he'd lost the majority of his shares. He felt like dying inside. He should have beaten Chen Rower more before leaving. It's all that bitch's fault. If I suffer, she won't have it easy either. Just before he was about to turn and leave, Su Chen's voice sounded again. Lao Qian, you'll be the biggest shareholder tomorrow. If you don't even have 80 million, it's a joke. It's embarrassing. Forget it. I'll transfer it to you later. Zhao Wuliang's body swayed, nearly collapsing to the floor. He forced a smile on his face, turning back with a bitter look. Mr. Su, how could I trouble you with that? When I sign the transfer contract tomorrow, I'll transfer the 100 million to Mr. Qian. This is truly wanting everything at once. She couldn't take it. She had to destroy her later. Su Chen and Xianghua remained expressionless, like an eternal iceberg. Even though he had a gentle look, his nature was incredibly cold. Although he usually wore this expression, he was especially cold today. Even knowing he'd get 51% of Zhao's shares tomorrow, his expression didn't change in the slightest. Although Zhao's company was quite large, those shares were worth at least 500 million. But as Su Chen's private doctor, Xianghua's salary was more than he could spend. And the upper crust of Haichang knew his ties to Su Chen. Who wouldn't give him a bit of face? Getting paid for doing nothing every day. Who would be bored enough to be a shareholder? Xianghua didn't quite understand Su Chen's motive. It couldn't really be for the money. That didn't fit his old friend's personality. Su Chen saw his thoughts, a smirk playing on his lips. If I recall correctly, the intern in Zhao's new district is named Chen Rower. If she hadn't interned at Zhao's, Chen Rower wouldn't have gotten involved with Zhao Wuliang. Xianghua kept his cold face, but his expression softened slightly. Su Chen put an arm around his shoulder. It's just a woman. Nothing to be sad about. Look on the bright side. Everyone meets a dog in their life eventually. As soon as he finished speaking, the sound of footsteps came from upstairs. Two young girls walked down from the stairs. It was Yunya and Yunfei. They were twins Su's mother found for Su Chen. The tall one was the older sister, Yunya. The petite and cute one was the younger sister, Yunfei. The former wore a light purple cheongsam under the tight-fitting dress. Her curvy figure was perfectly outlined. The latter wore a cute pink maid outfit, stepping in small leather shoes, running down the stairs with a patter. Seeing the two of them, Xianghua instinctively dodged Su Chen's arm. Forget it. I'd better go home. Today had been quite a blow to him. He wanted to go home and be quiet. After Yunfei saw Xianghua out, she trotted back, taking the wine glass off the table. Her cute face was tense, persuading him in a soft voice. Young master, drinking iced cola in summer is bad. She brought a room temperature cola from the kitchen. Before she could pour it into the glass, Su Chen waved his hand to stop her. Forget it. Drinking room temp cola in the summer. What's the difference from drinking horse piss? He walked over to Yunya, pinching her cheek hard. Yunya let out a soft cry of pain, but didn't dare to resist. She could only look at Su Chen innocently. Every time Yunfei did something to annoy Su Chen would take it out on her. Su Chen returned to the study on the second floor, using his computer to direct company business remotely. The company had people specifically at his command, so Su Chen wasn't like other CEOs, busy all day long. As long as nothing major happened, Su Chen didn't even go to the office. Just after finishing the business, a system notification rang in his mind. Congratulations, host, for helping Xianghua turn things around. A mystery gift bag has been added to your inventory. Would the host like to open the mystery gift bag? Idle is idle. Sure. Let's open it and see. Congratulations, host, you've received 1 million in starting capital. Congratulations, host, you've received combat mastery. Congratulations, host, you've received foresight. You can predict the overall trend of the business world. Su Chen was silent for 2 seconds, shaking his head with a headache. 1 million in starting capital? Are you trying to dismiss a beggar? Combat mastery and foresight aren't much use either. These rewards are useless. I make hundreds of millions every minute, and you give me 1 million as starting capital? And combat mastery? I was the undefeated king of the underworld at 18. Long Outyen, with his Soldier King script, was beaten into submission by me. The system felt quite helpless about this, its tone even sounding aggrieved. This is a tragic novel world. Xianghua wasn't abused deeply enough, so don't blame me for these rewards. Su Chen leaned forward slightly, his fingers tapping the desk unconsciously. Not a tragic novel world? Is even the system this bizarre? The rewards depend on how deep the abuse is? Do all these rewards have to be so cliché? As Su Chen was thinking this, the system responded quickly. Host, my settings are just like that. If you want better rewards, why not actively seek out the tragic leads? As long as you try hard enough, you'll definitely get the super gift bag I prepared. Su Chen pulled a cigarette from his pocket, lighting it casually. Looking for them? I'm too lazy to bother. Anyway, I'm bored. Doing tasks isn't out of the question. Maybe if I'm lucky, I'll run into one when I go out later. The system was speechless at his lazy attitude. The host is being too laid back. Besides being handsome, wealthy, and lucky, and mastering various skills, what else does he have? If a tragedy could be found just like going out, then what would I be needed for? The system believed Su Chen would hit a wall eventually. The assistant called, reporting on the progress of the work. Mr. Su, after the Wen family's partnership ended, other companies noticed your fallout with them, and they've all turned against them. The Wen family's wealth and power were high, so their decline was relative to before. Now the Wen family was barely in the top 10 in Haicheng, but compared to the Su family, the gap between them was too large. The Wen family could rank in the top 10, only because the family wealth reached that level. Su Chen was the richest man in Haicheng, but he wasn't just the richest man in Haicheng. Forget the rest. You don't need to tell me about such small things. Let the bullets fly for a while. Any bitch of a heroine who dares to play games with me, I'll make sure she dies with rhythm. After hanging up the phone, the assistant was also terrified. Wen Wan was a fool to do such a thing. Even if Su Chen destroyed her, the assistant wouldn't be surprised. But he never thought Su Chen would attack the Wen family. The Wen family was really going to perish. Coincidentally, just after Su Chen hung up, he received a call from Wen Fu. His tone was even more humble than before, his voice turning hoarse. Xiao Chen, I was wrong. We've known each other for years. Give the Wen family a way out. In just a few hours, the Wen family had lost nearly 100 million. That was just Su Chen's initial move. Many small forces hadn't even started yet. By tomorrow. Su Chen tapped his fingers on the desk, feeling a bit annoyed. Mr. Wen, don't be so familiar. You don't know you were wrong. You just know the Wen family is about to be gone. After saying that, he hung up and blocked Wen Fu's number as well. Ever since the Su and Wen families got engaged, Wen Fu had taken hundreds of millions from him. The investments he'd attracted using his name were countless. He originally thought they'd be family anyway, so it didn't matter if Wen Fu had power. He didn't care about money. With Su Chen's status and position, it didn't matter how greedy Wen Fu was. Besides, Wen Wan was indeed good looking, and it was his grandfather's dying wish. He didn't mind helping out, but Wen Wan did such a thing, and Wen Fu couldn't have been unaware. Now that the truth was out, knowing fear was too late, Su Chen called his parents in the evening, informing them of his recent plans. Learning of the Wen family's shameless actions, the two elders were were also quite angry. They told Su Chen to go ahead and do what he wanted. The Su family had helped enough with the old generation's favors. The path is walked by oneself, and no one has a way back. Served by Yunya and Yunfei. Su Chen went to bed early. The sisters were his personal maids, the 24-hour kind, don't misunderstand. They really were just maids. Early the next morning, after a night of persuasion, the system still couldn't change Su Chen's will. It simply gave up. Fine, just drop then. If the host doesn't want to find the tragic lead, then don't. As soon as Su Chen arrived at the company entrance and got out, he immediately caught everyone's attention. A stretched Hongqi wasn't a luxury car in Haicheng, but the 6-number license plate was still extremely eye-catching. The female receptionists at the company saw Su Chen and their eyes lit up. Today, Su Chen was wearing a simple white tracksuit, his perfect height of 1.85 meters, and a young, fresh face with a hint of style, especially the smirk at the corner of his mouth. Once he entered the company, everyone's breathing went quiet. Several female employees hurriedly took out small mirrors, checking if their makeup was ruined, then subconsciously tucked their hair behind their ears, looking at Su Chen with seductive eyes. Where did this guest come from? Is he a new partner for the company? I've never heard of such a handsome partner. Before, those who came to talk business with Zhao Wuliang were either fat and greasy, or middle-aged men. There were elite handsome men too, but they were all over 30. Like Su Chen, someone so young with 11 iOS aura. It was their first time seeing one. In the cars behind the Hongqi, several bodyguards watched Su Chen get out, and watched him disappear. Getting paid for nothing every day is so awkward. Only Long Aotian, who was moonlighting as a driver, followed. Although his skills couldn't compare to Su Chen's, sometimes Su Chen wasn't convenient to act. Su Chen's aura was too strong, and the employees at the entrance lowered their heads, none of them daring to ask where he came from, letting him into the company. Su Chen's gaze fell on a man in the corner. The two locked eyes, and the man's eyes flickered, switching to a flattering look. But hidden beneath the sycophancy was an undeniable malice and hatred. Su Chen didn't remember knowing this person, instinctively opening his inside eye. Jiboda, occupation, black-white moonlight, identity, tragic male supporting role, intelligence, stealing the life-saving grace of the male lead Shintian towards Lu Ruyan. Through various means, he made Lu Ruyan throw the male lead into the mountains, suffering endless torture and humiliation, including but not limited to crawling like dog, eating excrement, beatings, electric shocks, and suicides. Eventually, Shintian was tortured beyond recognition. And in despair, he committed suicide. Lu Ruyan held his ashes in agony. Task 1, torture Jiboda to death. Task 2, help Jiboda steal the male lead's identity. Reward, mystery gift bag. Task 3, help the male lead heal his wounds. Reward, 9-death resurrection needle. Su Chen looked at Jiboda and smiled, unable to stop complaining in his heart. The system's mystery gift bag is 1 million in starting capital, plus some messy benefits. And this 9-death resurrection needle? Can the system be more rigorous? I already learned this stuff ages ago. None of the things the system gives are usable. Not to mention, as expected of a tragic novel male lead, the system, while the male lead is being abused to death. Jiboda was here to talk business for the Lu Corporation. He was busy replying to Lu Ruyan's messages. Today was the day to bring Shintian back from the mountains. He had to find a way to make that guy behave. Otherwise, if Lu Ruyan saw a flaw, he wouldn't have a good ending. Su Chen's lips curled into a smile. You seem to hate me. Jiboda didn't know why, but he felt fear towards Su Chen in his heart, as if he were being stared at by a ferocious beast. But in his heart, he felt fear towards Su Chen. Sir, we are meeting for the first time. Why would I hate you? Actually, he did hate him. Why did he only rely on flattering Lu Ruyan to lie a life above others? Looking at Su Chen, who was clearly from a big family, that noble aura radiating from within was what he dreamed of. Su Chen didn't care about his answer. Stretching his back. Is that so? Maybe the system saw he had no intention of acting and got anxious. Help the male lead or help the male supporting role. You have to choose one. Su Chen rested his chin on his left hand. Bored. Are you teaching me how to do things? Whether it's the system or a golden finger, no one can command me. As for whether to help the so-called male lead, it depends on my mood. There are so many suffering people in the world. Just because he's a tragic novel male lead, do I have to work hard to save him? It doesn't seem that hard though. Just make a call to the assistant and have them arrange for someone to do it. The system was speechless, but it didn't know how to argue. Everything the system could offer right now, Su Chen already had. The shareholder meeting upstairs finished, and Qianhua successfully took over Zhao Wuliang's 51% of the shares, becoming the biggest shareholder of Zhao's company. Logically, for a company of this level, Su Chen wouldn't come, but because it was an old friend's first time being an 11 IO, he deigned to come. Su Chen was too lazy to go upstairs, so he sat in the meeting room waiting. Not long after, a petite and weak figure walked in at the door. Her face was slightly red and swollen, and even with full makeup, she couldn't cover it. Chen Rower had been beaten too hard yesterday. No matter how she applied makeup, she couldn't hide the bruises on her face. Chen Rower could only go to work with a pighead face. After Chen Rower borrowed money from Chen Xiaoyu yesterday, she went home and cried to her parents. However, she came from an ordinary family. Her father gambled and drank. Her mother played mahjong every day. Neither of them cared much about their daughter, knowing she sold herself out, and even asked Chen Rower for living expenses. When they learned their daughter had been beaten, their first reaction was to extort the other party. But before they could even leave, Zhao Wuliang brought 2 big men, storming over aggressively. He cursed Chen Rower out, and gave her a beating. Chen's father and mother hid in the corner, trembling, afraid of being beaten themselves. They couldn't afford to offend Zhao Wuliang, so they had to blame Qianhua. But when she thought of Su Chen, Chen Rower stopped them. She wasn't stupid. She realized she couldn't afford to offend Su Chen. She had relied on selling her body to join Zhao Wuliang's company, so she didn't want to ruin her money over this. Coming to the company today, she saw Su Chen in the meeting room. Luckily, Su Chen hadn't noticed her. Chen Rower carefully walked towards her desk, but was stopped by a colleague. Chen Rower, you're fired. You don't need to come to work anymore. Chen Rower heard this, stunned on the spot. Nini, what did you say? How's that possible? I don't believe it. Zhao Wuliang? Where is he? Even after being beaten by Zhao Wuliang last night, those things couldn't be seen in the light. Chen Rower didn't believe Zhao Wuliang would be heartless enough to fire her. The receptionist rolled her eyes, as if she were looking at trash that hurt her eyes. Don't look for Zhao's own. The company has a new 11 IO now. Your backer is useless. Get out now. Chen Rower had relied on Zhao Wuliang's relationship, bullying others in the company, so the employees all hated her. The receptionist felt that the time wasted on Chen Rower could have been spent looking at the handsome man. Maybe if they locked eyes, he would fall in love with her at first sight. Chen Rower tried to barge in, but was held back by 2 security guards. Beautiful women are always pitiable, but a beautiful woman with a pighead face, the guards wouldn't be gentle with her. Chen Rower had lost her backer, and Zhao Wuliang had been exposed by Qianhua. Plus she had suffered 2 beatings. Her mentality was already on the verge of collapse. Her expression twisted into a ball, and she started screaming hoarsely. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. You must be lying to me. I want to see Zhao Wuliang. Make him come out. Make him come out and see me. She stopped pretending to be weak. Just then, Qianhua and the others finished their meeting. Walking downstairs and seeing the screaming Qianhua saw Qianhua surrounded by the crowd.
Her expression changing abruptly.
Qianhua, why are you here? The other shareholders saw Qianhua and their faces turned cold. Get this crazy woman out of here.
What are you waiting for?
Why not drag this crazy woman out? Don't let him offend Mr. Qian. He's the new big shot in charge.
What's with all this noise?
Zhao Wuliang stepped forward, announcing to everyone present. Qianhua is the company's largest shareholder. Her ex-boyfriend is now her bot. The psychological gap drove Qianhua to the brink of madness. She stared blankly at Qianhua.
Qianhua was handsome and gentle.
He fit her ideal boyfriend perfectly. But a boyfriend is just a boyfriend. To get married, he needs money. That's why she sought out Zhao Wuliang, just to squeeze out more cash, to satisfy her vanity. Yet Qianhua, whom she treated as a spare tire, turned out to be the biggest shareholder. Su Chen walked out of the meeting room, waving his hand lazily. Don't let this woman in again,
or I'll doubt your security skills.
The guards didn't know Su Chen, but hearing his tone,
they felt compelled to obey him.
The two guards hardened their hearts, dragging Qianhua out of the building. Qianhua fell flat on her face,
her makeup ruined by tears.
Her cheeks were red and swollen,
a mess of bruises, looking truly hideous. If this were before,
Qianhua would be furious, seeing her treated this way. But now, he felt nothing. Why care about something already tainted? Since she's dirty, he doesn't want her. Su Chen was pleased with the guards, squinting his eyes slightly. Your salaries will go up by 20%. The two guards were overjoyed, thanking Su Chen profusely. They didn't even ask who he was, or if he had the authority to raise pay. Qianhua was speechless. Isn't this company's stake mine now? Why is he giving the orders? The company is doing quite well. Qianhua knows nothing about business. Luckily, Su Chen already hired help. They've been brothers for years. Qianhua didn't stand on ceremony. This money to Su Chen is just a drop in the bucket. Once they left the company, they drove off in the red flag. Qianhua finally snapped back, seeing Zhao Wuliang about to leave. She rushed to grab his leg, tears welling in her eyes, choking out, "Brother Zhao, you can't do this to me. I have nothing left now." Zhao Wuliang didn't want the trouble, spitting in disgust. She used to look so good in bed, but looking at her now, she's just an eyesore. Stop with the nonsense. If not for you, I wouldn't be here. Don't ever show your face again, or I'll beat you every time I see you. He was frustrated. He just wanted a plaything. But before he knew it, he provoked the powerful Su family, forced to hand over most of his shares. He didn't dare stay in the country. With dividends, he'd be set for life. He planned to go abroad, to avoid Su Chen's revenge. Qianhua gave up on dignity. She grabbed his trousers, clinging to his leg. Don't go. My brother's girlfriend is the Wen family heiress. You dare treat me like this? My brother won't let you off.
Zhao Wuliang sneered at that, kicking her hard in the chest.
A trash lie, you knows the Wen heiress? The engagement between the Su and Wen families, promoted by the Wens, was already known in high circles.
When one left the rich, handsome Su Chen
for Qianhua's brother, any normal person wouldn't do such a thing. He didn't believe her words.
Zhao Wuliang shook her off,
rushing home in a hurry, preparing to flee the country. His parents were long gone. He was bored with his local lovers. But while passing the mountainside, a loud boom echoed from above. Countless rocks came crashing down. Meanwhile, Qianhua got off halfway. Though he and Su Chen are close, they rarely meet these days. Seeing Qianhua's state today, he felt quite satisfied, but also annoyed at his own blindness. After Qianhua left, Long Outyan, the bodyguard and driver, asked, "Bot, back to the villa or the office?" Su Chen typed on his laptop, without looking up. Back to the villa. He could handle company matters online. Besides, he spent so much money hiring so many people. Why should he do everything himself? How is the situation with the Wen family? Long Outyan drove with focus, a dragon-like smirk on his face. After you cut ties with the Wens, the Wen family is crumbling. They won't last a month. Logically, a company of that size shouldn't be devoured in just a month. But sadly, despite their status, they have no cash flow. And with your word out, no one dares to work with them. Su Chen frowned, not satisfied with the result. Still too slow. Let's do this. Make them vanish in half a month. Long Outyan smiled wickedly. Understood, but leave it to me. His name isn't just for show. Beyond combat and assassination, Long Outyan is a business genius. Often, things Su Chen won't do himself
are handled through him. Leaving this to Long Outyan,
Su Chen felt at ease. Just as he was about to nap,
the system chimed in his head.
Post, I found the male lead for the abuse plot. What a coincidence. You should help him. Su Chen looked outside, spotting the so-called male lead. The man was disheveled and dirty. His clothes were covered in filth. His right leg had a clear limp. Information appeared before Su Chen. Name, Shintian. Status, male lead of the abuse world. Childhood sweetheart, hidden lop. He and Lu Ruyan were childhood friends, but their status gap was too wide. They loved each other but never spoke. Later, Shintian saved drowning Lu Ruyan, but he fell into a coma. Ji Boda stole the credit. Since then, Shintian lived in misery. Recently, Lu Ruyan listened to Ji Boda and sent Shintian to the mountains to have guards teach him a lesson. After a month of torture, he barely escaped. His body was at its limit. He'll die in 2 days. Mission, save the male lead and heal him. Reward, enhanced inside eye. Su Chen signaled to stop the car. Looking outside, Long, do you think people are blind enough to listen to others? Knowing the male best friend hates the boyfriend, yet still dumping the boyfriend in the mountains, while claiming to lop him deep down? Long Outyan looked over, amused.
With a smirk.
Probably not. A decent woman doesn't have male best friends. Is a male best friend even normal? She clearly wants him dead. How could she lop him? Knowing the friend hates the boyfriend and still listening to him, that's just wanting him dead. Nothing to think about. Also, your nickname is really cheesy. If I couldn't beat you, I'd have hit you 3 times today. Su Chen patted his shoulder. People are greedy. You know, they want everything. I'm in a good mood today. If Shintian's answer satisfies me, I don't mind helping him. Long Outyen brought Shintian over. Even when pulled into the car, Shintian remained expressionless, his eyes full of mockery. Seeing Su Chen inside, Shintian was stunned, fists clenched, standing by the door. You're Mr. Su? The Lu family is prestigious. Shintian, being with Lu Ruyan, had seen Su Chen before.
He remembered the man's powerful aura. But Shintian didn't want to lie.
Beyond the initial SOC, he quickly regained his calm. The pain made him tremble. Why did you call for me, Mr. Su? Did Lu Ruyan send you to get me? Su Chen couldn't help but laugh. Checking his injuries. Lu Ruyan sent me to get you? That's a good joke. Forget Lu Ruyan. Even all 9 Lu daughters combined aren't on her level. Shintian didn't get the joke, but realized it wasn't about her. He forced a smile. Just that slight movement split the scar on his lip. Blood trickled out. Long Outyen calmly handed him a tissue. Wipe it yourself. Don't dirty the bot's car. Su Chen didn't have 11io germophobia,
But blood in the car was unsightly.
Shintian coughed a few times,
staining the tissue scarlet. He knew his time was short. He'd die from pain in days.
Mr. Su, why did you bring me here? Su Chen lit a cigarette, blowing a ring of smoke. I just want to ask you, if you had a chance for revenge, how would you repay Lu Ruyan and Jiboda? Long Outyen smiled. The car started moving forward.
He knew his bot was getting involved, though he didn't know what happened.
It was getting interesting. Now it depends on Shintian's answer, whether it satisfies the bot. Shintian looked at him blankly, emotions churning in his eyes, finally turning into hatred.
I want them to suffer everything I did.
I want them to wish they were dead. Forget the friendship and childhood bond. After Lu Ruyan sided with Jiboda, Shintian's heart was already dead. The moment he was thrown into the mountains,
the last of their bond vanished. His hatred didn't look fake.
Su Chen was satisfied with the answer.
If Shintian said he wanted to die to fulfill their happiness, Su Chen would have kicked him out
and left him to rot, being trampled to this state, and not wanting revenge. A man without spirit doesn't deserve to lie. Su Chen pressed a button in the back.
Silver needles popped out. He grabbed them
without looking, stabbing them into Shintian's pressure points.
The system was stunned, its tone full of terror.
Not lie that. That's not how you use the needle. At least find a quiet room.
Let him lie down first.
This is a lost ancient technique. Even with the system's reward, you need focus to avoid mistakes. Su Chen didn't even look.
Just went for it.
The system had seen it all. But never someone like Su Chen. Within a few breaths,
Shintian's face flushed with color.
He'd been tortured for too long. Without food. Eating scraps like a dog. His stomach was ruined.
Though Su Chen saved his life,
a wave of dizziness followed.
Shintian grabbed the seat, barely standing up.
Due to the sudden exertion,
his bandages tore open. The guards who tortured him, to avoid leaving marks,
wrapped him in bandages.
But there were too many scars,
bleeding everywhere. Su Chen shook his head in disappointment. Couldn't help but complain. That's so unprofessional. So they didn't hit the face to hide the evidence,
but beat the rest to death?
Did they think he had no hands to take off his clothes? Long Outyen nodded in agreement,
clearly disgusted. Not to brag. If my men did it,
they wouldn't leave a single mark,
and would still cause agony.
Shintian's condition looked terrible, but after Su Chen's treatment, he recovered quite a bit. Moving wasn't a problem. Shintian had to believe. Su Chen really wanted to help. Thank you, Mr. Su. From now on, my life is yours.
He was curious how Su Chen would help. In his surprise,
Long Outyen drove to the police station.
Looking at the sign,
Shintian scratched his head,
forgetting his pain.
Mr. Su.
Su Chen slapped the back of his head,
matter-of-factly. What? When in trouble, call the police. Don't you know? Imprisonment, torture, that's years in jail. Do you think there's no law? Those guards acting like thugs and making it so obvious. Aren't they just asking for death? Because Shintian's injuries were so clear. Blunt force trauma to the abdomen.
Hundreds of knife cuts on his back. The police found in his stomach human hair and filth.
His right leg was fractured. His left leg was branded with the words cheap dog. There wasn't a patch of good skin. If they hadn't seen it, the officers wouldn't believe it. With such injuries, how was he still alive? With evidence, they just had to arrest them. Walking out of the station, Shintian was still dazed. Calling the police? This isn't right. Before, if anyone offended Lu Ruyan,
she'd use her power
to force them to yield and then take revenge. This Mr. Su doesn't play by the rules. The system watched Su Chen, holding back for a long time. Finally couldn't help it. Post. You just need to heal him.
Give him the will to lie.
Your mission is done.
He'll change his tragic fate
and lie happily with the female lead. With your medical skills, you could heal him completely.
Why only half?
If you don't heal him, the mission won't finish. The system really doesn't get it. What is Su Chen doing?
Why not take the reward?
Shintian was gloomy. Luckily, Long Outyen was a chatterbox.
Chatting away.
Su Chen lowered the soundproof partition, looking at Shintian, a faint golden light in his eyes.
Nothing. Just wanted to run an experiment.
To kill, you must break the heart. Seeing a heartless person feel guilty is boring, but exposing the ugliness of human nature, that, I'm interested in. The system was confused. Small system, big questions. Experiment? What experiment? Can you just do the mission? Su Chen flicked his ash, not wanting to explain. None of your business.
Just healing him is too boring. I want to return the pain 1,000-fold.
That's what revenge is. According to the system, this is an abuse plot world. Since there are many male leads, maybe I can have some fun.
That day, the 3 guards were arrested.
But the masterminds, Lu and Ji, escaped.
The guards took the fall,
claiming it was their own idea. The Lu family is powerful. Lu Ruyan escaping legal trouble
is easy.
Su Chen didn't step out. Revenge is better served personally. Lu Ruyan walked out of the station.
Furious, Find him.
Find him as fast as you can. Where is that bastard Shintian hiding? I just told them to teach him a lesson. He dared to call the police? Doesn't he know he's supposed to marry me? To be my husband?
How could he be so heartless?
5 minutes later, Lu Ruyan got a call from her assistant. Master Lu, we found him.
Mr. Shin is at the Yulong court.
Lu Ruyan was puzzled.
Since when was her Tim so efficient, but blinded by rage?
She didn't think much, dragging Ji Boda to the Yulong court. Ji Boda arrived at Yulong court,
greed in his eyes, looking around with envy. This is the Moon Garden,
a place he couldn't afford in a lifetime.
The rich and powerful lie here,
and the women are pampered. Beautiful women in their 30s everywhere,
exuding mature charm.
Ji Boda's greed flashed and vanished, sitting obediently by Lu Ruyan. The Lu family is powerful in Haicheng.
Though he didn't own a place here,
most people here knew him. Lu Ruyan couldn't figure out how Shintian knew Su Chen, but she didn't care. At her level, you don't break ties over small things.
The Rolls-Royce stopped at the gate. They saw guards playing basketball.
Su Chen. A beautiful move.
Leaping for a dunk.
Scoring another three-pointer. Winning cheers from the guards.
Your skills get better every day, but
if the 3-year-old me met the 18-year-old you,
I'd win with one hand. The guards were bored. With Su Chen's permission, they turned the yard into a court. Outsiders rarely come here. The guards were trained by Su Chen. Their bond was special.
Lu Ruyan quickly found Shintian, sitting quietly in the corner, staring blankly at Su Chen. Ji Boda noticed Su Chen too, but looked on with disdain. So that's Su Chen? Helping Shintian? What a waste of time.
He'd heard the name often from Lu Ruyan. Decisive, brilliant, ruthless, handsome, all the praise in the world.
Su Chen was indeed impossibly handsome. Too bad he's a man.
Clinging to Lu Ruyan is enough. Lu Ruyan in a tight black suit, highlighting her hot figure. Walking to the gate,
staring coldly at Su Chen. Mr. Su, how did I offend you? Why did you tell my fiancé to call the police?
In her view, she did nothing wrong.
Shintian wouldn't have called. It must be Su Chen's doing. The Lu family isn't as big as the Su family. It couldn't be any worse than this. Besides, Su Chen is clearly in the wrong here. He must force Su Chen to apologize to him. Su Chen saw the main character arrive. He snapped his fingers. Long Outyan skillfully brought Shintian to the gate. Standing behind him, he said, go on, strip. Lu Ruyan didn't understand what he meant at first. Ji Boda's face suddenly turned very ugly. He opened his mouth to stop it, but one look from Long Outyan shut him up. In that instant, he felt like he was being watched by a beast. His legs couldn't stop trembling. Following Su Chen's instructions, Shintian tore open his sleeves. The dense scars underneath made Lu Ruyan frown, a flash of worry in her eyes. Seeing the culprit who persecuted him, Shintian no longer felt his usual tenderness. Instead, he was full of disgust. He glared at Lu Ruyan with extreme resentment. His tone was laced with sarcasm. Why are you still looking for me? Do you think you haven't tortured me enough? Are you going to throw me back in again? Hearing her words, Lu Ruyan felt her momentary heartache vanish. Her eyes were tinged with anger. She impatiently scolded. What nonsense are you saying? I only had my bodyguard take you in to teach you a lesson and make you behave. I never told them to torture you. Can you stop being so unreasonable? You're always like this. I'm really exhausted.
Shintian sneered. He took off his shirt.
Just on his chest, the cigarette burned scars, numbered in the dozens. The layered bloody wounds looked like they'd been bitten by an animal. His shoulders were a bloody mess. You could see the fresh, raw flesh. Lu Ruyan's expression changed drastically. She froze on the spot. She stared at her in disbelief. She reached out with trembling hands, wanting to touch her body. But the moment she made contact, she pulled back quickly, as if she had seen the most terrifying thing in the world. How could it be like this? I didn't tell them to do this. She didn't dare look into Shintian's eyes. In those eyes she was so familiar with, the old tenderness was gone forever. Shintian looked up slightly and asked, why? Didn't I beg you for help before? You were the one who told them to teach me a good lesson. As long as I didn't die, anything went. Have you forgotten? Back when he was first locked up in the mountains, before his phone was taken away, she called Lu Ruyan for help, but the other party hung up on her directly. A month. Do you know how I spent this past month? It's all because of you. Because of your teach him a lesson. I lived a life worse than a dog. Lu Ruyan's cold face rarely showed signs of tears. She shook her head desperately to deny it. No, that's not it. I didn't know it would be like this. When she first heard the report, she thought Shintian was just throwing a tantrum. But seeing Shintian now, how could she not realize she'd been tricked? Shintian pointed at Ji Boda beside her, his gaze sorrowful and filled with despair. You handed the task of sending me to the mountain to him. Shouldn't you have known what my fate would be? He didn't believe that Lu Ruyan had no idea what kind of treatment he would face. Lu Ruyan suddenly turned to look at Ji Boda, her eyes filled with an unprecedented coldness. Ji Boda, did you do this? How could Ji Boda dare to admit it? Seeing them dawdling, a figure flashed by at lightning speed. Ji Boda's body flew backward like a tattered sack. Su Chen was already standing at the gate. No need to say so much. Do whatever you want. Shintian looked at Su Chen with admiration. He felt the thrill of revenge.
Su Chen lit a cigarette.
He took a deep drag and said, hurry up, don't hesitate. If you kill him, I'll take responsibility. The bodyguards in the courtyard saw him lie this. A bodyguard in his early 20s had already slipped into the villa. Lu Ruyan watched Ji Boda get beaten. Her feelings complicated. Su Zone, beating my people in front of me. Isn't that a bit inappropriate? We can't be sure yet that Ji Boda did this. Besides, you have to consider the master before beating the dog. If Ji Boda is wrong, I can discipline him myself. It's not Su Chen's place. His behavior clearly showed he didn't respect her at all. Su Chen picked at his ear. He didn't even bother looking at her. It is a bit inappropriate. Then you'll just have to put up with it. Shintian was waiting for Su Chen's order. Seeing that he had already acted, he immediately stepped forward, took the wooden stick from Long Outyan's hand, and smashed it against Ji Boda's body. After this whole month, all those empty promises of eternal love had been completely worn away. If he could, he would want both of these bastards to die right now. Ji Boda's chest bones were broken by Su Chen's kick. He couldn't even crawl up. He had no ability to fight back. Long Outyan and the others stood by. He knew that fighting back would only lead to a faster death. He could only curl up his body, letting Shintian vent. Lu Ruyan's eyes reddened as she tried to pull Shintian away. She didn't want him to keep hitting him. Shintian, what are you doing? Shintian didn't even look at her. He shoved her away. He then aimed at her face and
slapped her hard. Where were you when I was being tortured and abused? Why is it that when it hits your lover, you suddenly feel heartache? Lu Ruyan was so angry her eyes turned red. She didn't even care about Shin Tian's injuries. She gripped the fresh flesh on Shin Tian's shoulder tightly. Lu Ruyan's tone grew colder. I told you, I didn't know about this. I will investigate it clearly, and no matter who did it, I won't let them off. You are my fiancé, after all. We are going to get married. Su Chen clapped from the side, full of admiration for her words. 666. You almost tortured your fiancé to death, and you're still thinking about marrying him? May I ask, how did you grow such a brainless head? He seriously doubted if there was any logic in this abusive novel world. How could such ridiculous words come out of her mouth? Lu Ruyan didn't have time to argue. She hurriedly called for her bodyguards. Are you blind? Stop him. Don't let Shin Tian keep hitting him. However, before Lu Ruyan's two bodyguards could move, Long Outyan kicked out Lai Lightning. Both of them collapsed to the ground, unconscious. Just kidding. He might only be unable to beat Brother Chen, but below Brother Chen, he was invincible. But, what about this woman? Should we grab her too? He didn't know. What kind of Lu family dared to provoke his bot? Come one, kill one. Su Chen rubbed his chin. He looked at Lu Ruyan with a playful glint in his eyes. Old Long, don't talk nonsense. This is the eldest daughter of the Lu family. In broad daylight, in such a high-end villa area like Yulong Garden. How can you talk about killing people? Long Outyan smiled wickedly. Then, bot, do you mean we should take her overseas first? And then, he made a throat-slitting gesture. Long Outyan's reckless demeanor made Lu Ruyan's skin crawl. But she was, after all, from a wealthy family, with countless forces backing her. She really didn't believe Long Outyan would dare do anything to her. What angered her was Shin Tian. Lu Ruyan was almost driven crazy by his lack of understanding. Lu Ruyan was different from ordinary wealthy heiresses. She was born into a prestigious family and was gifted from a young age. She had a high business acumen. She built her own jewelry brand from scratch. She had never been hit before. The old Shin Tian used to hold her in his hands, fearing she'd fall, and keep her in his mouth, fearing she'd melt, let alone hitting her. He couldn't even bear to move a finger of hers. Now, there was a clear red mark on her delicate cheek. The blood spilling from the corner of her mouth showed just how much strength Shin Tian had used. You dare to hit me? You actually dare to hit me? Didn't I tell you? I didn't know about that matter. I will give you an explanation. What do you mean by this? Don't you even trust me anymore? Shin Tian shoved Lu Ruyan away. He pointed at his scars, gritting his teeth. Trust you? I used to trust you so much, and I still ended up in this state. I'm telling you, don't let me get a chance. Otherwise, everything I've experienced, I will make you experience it all. She had lived a hellish life. No matter who it was, they wouldn't forgive the other party. The hatred in Shin Tian's eyes made Lu Ruyan's body tremble. She stepped back involuntarily. She could see that Shin Tian really wanted to kill her. But thinking of their past, Lu Ruyan's eyes reddened, and she continued to defend herself. I didn't know. I really didn't know it would turn out like this. Don't worry, I will definitely get revenge for you. No matter who hurt you, I will make them pay 1,000 times over. Su Chen took a document from his bodyguard and tossed it onto Lu Ruyan's face. Lu Zong, you should be very interested in these things. Lu Ruyan was hit in the face by the document before she could turn against Su Chen. When she saw the contents of the document, her already ugly face turned dark enough to drip water. The document recorded that the person who saved her from drowning back then wasn't Ji Boda. The reason Lu Ruyan trusted Ji Boda was because Ji Boda had saved her life. If she had known it was Shin Tian who saved her that day, there wouldn't have been so many issues between them. Thinking back on these years, because she listened to Ji Boda's words and the harm she caused Shin Tian, Lu Ruyan felt as if her heart was being carved out by 1,000 knives. It was agonizing. How could it be like this? This animal actually dared to lie to me. Lu Ruyan looked at Ji Boda with eyes that held no emotion at all, only a coldness that felt real. You actually dared to lie to me. Damn it. I will make you wish you were dead. As she spoke, she kicked him hard between the legs. With her 8 centimeters high heels, Ji Boda's scream was even more miserable than before. If he wasn't already in so much pain, he would have passed out long ago. Lu Ruyan looked at Shin Tian, her expression instantly turning to guilt. Her eyes narrowed slightly. She wanted to reach for Shin Tian's hand. Shin Tian, I'm so sorry. It's all my fault. My fault for being blind. I recognized the wrong person. Believe me, I will make it up to you. Shin Tian hated her to the bone. Even without anyone backing him, he wanted to take revenge on Lu Ruyan and Ji Boda, let alone with Su Chen backing him. He dodged Lu Ruyan's reach without thinking. Make it up to me? How are you going to compensate for these scars? Or are you willing to be kept like a dog for a month like I was? If you're willing, then I can forgive your past mistakes. Compared to what Lu Ruyan had done to him, this condition was quite lenient. In the past, Ji Boda had framed Lu Ruyan time and time again, and she had trusted him unconditionally every single time. Even though with Lu Ruyan's power, she could have just investigated a little. She would have discovered he was being framed. But Lu Ruyan always trusted Ji Boda unconditionally. When he was sick with a fever alone, Lu Ruyan was busy helping Ji Boda organize his new home. When his cat of over 10 years was beaten to death by Ji Boda, Lu Ruyan only cared about Ji Boda's scratched finger, not believing his explanation at all. Shin Tian couldn't even count how many times she had favored him. She had felt disheartened countless times, wanting to leave Lu Ruyan, but the Lu family was too powerful, and Lu Ruyan wouldn't let him go, insisting on marrying him. Hearing her words, Lu Ruyan's eyes dimmed instantly. Watching the two arguing, Su Chen patted Long Outyan on the shoulder. How about I make a bet with you? Long Outyan didn't understand, a bad feeling rising in his heart. But, what bet? Su Chen thought for a moment, and held up a finger. Let's bet a year's salary. Long Outyan's face turned bitter. But, stop it. His meeting with Su Chen back then was a random accident. At first, although he couldn't beat Su Chen, he didn't think he was inferior in other aspects, so they compared everything from pottery to painting, and from piano to business. Long Outyan lost miserably. He had been a bodyguard for Su Chen for 2 years, never receiving a cent of salary and even apologizing. 50 million UETD. Su Chen frowned, putting his arm around his shoulder. It's just for fun. At most, you'll just be my fry bodyguard for another year. Anyway, whether you bet or not, I won't let you go. Look at how sadly Lu Ruyan is crying. She probably wishes she could die for Shin Tian. How about this? I won't take advantage of you. I'll guess she won't agree to Shin Tian's request. After hearing the bet, Long Outyan wanted to say that he also guessed Lu Ruyan wouldn't agree, but he was half a beat too slow. Fine, then I'll bet Lu Ruyan will agree. His bot could have easily beaten him into submission, forcing him to be a fry bodyguard for another year, but he still considerately gave him a chance to bet. Bot is so good to me. Lu Ruyan looked at Shin Tian pleadingly, her eyes full of heartache. It was my fault before. Give me a chance. I will prove to you that the person I love most has always been you. I will make Ji Boda pay back all the torture you suffered. Shin Tian looked at the woman he had grown up with. He realized he had never truly known Lu Ruyan. The guilt on her face made his heart ache. A mocking smile hung on his lips. Really?
Then as long as you come with me, I won't hold this against you. Suzong has a property overseas. Are you willing to lie on a small island with me? After hearing this, Lu Ruyan subconsciously stepped back. She glanced at Shin Tian and then at Su Chen. She didn't believe Shin Tian would do anything to her, but this guy Su Chen made her have to be 3 parts wary. Lu Ruyan finished her studies in her early 20s, and with the help of her family, she created her own brand. In the Haichang circle, she was an object of admiration, the other person's child in the mouths of other families. Su Chen was different. He showed advanced vision at the age of 10, and his investments never failed. He took over the family business at 18, and within 2 years, he had multiplied the company's market value. Now, at just over 20, he kept the entire Haichang circle from raising their heads. People like Lu Ruyan and Su Chen could make anyone disappear with ease. Lu Ruyan believed that in Haichang, Su Chen couldn't do anything to her, but if she went overseas, it would be completely different. A struggle flashed in Lu Ruyan's eyes, showing clear resistance. She didn't want to leave with Shin Tian. Shin Tian, with our years of feelings, you know me. I cannot abandon my family, regardless of whether Shin Tian would take the chance to retaliate. She couldn't give up the power she held. Shin Tian's heart turned to ash. He didn't look at Lu Ruyan again. He smashed the wooden stick against Jibota's spine again. A crisp sound of bone breaking echoed. Jibota passed out. Get lost. Lu Ruyan looked at Shin Tian, heartbroken, tears streaming down her cheeks, and unspeakable regret surged in her heart. She wanted to force Shin Tian to leave with her, but seeing Su Chen, she hesitated to act. Then I'll come back to find you in 2 days. Don't worry, even if you kill him, I can smooth this over for you. Lu Ruyan was wrapped in anger and regret. She got into the car in a daze, and drove toward the Lu family home, forgetting even the 2 bodyguards who had passed out on the ground. Su Chen's bodyguards brought over chairs. Su Chen was leaning back on the sofa, a bottle of cola on the table, cracking melon seeds in his mouth. Such a dramatic plot. It would be a shame not to eat melon seeds. The bodyguards gathered behind him, also bringing a large bag of popcorn. Eating and sighing. Long Outyen watched Lu Ruyan drive away, unable to stop himself from cursing. Damn it, that damned woman. She made me work for Fry for another year. The unconscious Jibota was dragged into a car by the bodyguards. Su Chen took a card from his pocket and tossed it to Shin Tian. Those guys who were sent to prison. If you want, you can go in and play with them. If not, just find someone to do it. Anyway, they won't be coming out. Shin Tian took the card and thanked Su Chen. Suzong, thank you. He wanted to ask what would happen to Lu Ruyan, but the words died in his throat. The Lu family and the Su family were both top families in Haicheng. That Su Chen could help him to this extent was already a great favor. How could he dare to ask for more? 2 bodyguards stepped forward and helped Shin Tian into the car. Suzong has arranged another place for you. Let's go. Shin Tian bowed and thanked him again and again before leaving with the bodyguards. If he had been more observant, he would have noticed that as soon as Lu Ruyan left, Long Outyen had disappeared as well. After a brief contact, the system roughly understood Su Chen's personality. Seeing him really want to act against Lu Ruyan, it felt incredibly depressed. Post, Shin Tian and Lu Ruyan are the main characters. They lop each other deeply. As long as you cure Shin Tian, they can lie happily together. Your mission will be considered over-completed. Su Chen sneered at these words. Lop each other deeply? If they loved each other, she wouldn't have locked Shin Tian in the mountains. If I finish all your missions in the future, and then another system suddenly appears, and I choose to give all the rewards from my missions to that other system, but I tell you that you're still the system I admire most, would you believe me? The system was rendered speechless. Just thinking about that scene made it furious. It worked so hard to help Su Chen with his missions. Why should the final rewards go to another system? Post, Lu Ruyan was deceived. She loves the male lead deeply. For the male lead, she is willing to do anything. Su Chen flicked the ash from his cigarette, his smile growing more playful. It seems I guessed right. Systems really are mass-produced, and the system can get some rewards for completing all missions. But whether there are other systems in this world, it's hard to say. If she loves him so much, then why did Shin Tian say he would forgive her and take her overseas, but Lu Ruyan didn't agree? It's just a lack of understanding of human nature. Forget it. What's there to talk about with a system that has no wisdom? Human nature is always dirty. Lu Ruyan feels guilty toward Shin Tian. She is willing to humiliate Jibota to make it up to him, but she is not willing to make it up to Shin Tian by letting herself be humiliated. Even if there's only a possibility of danger, Lu Ruyan doesn't want to put herself in harm's way. As for the so-called deception, that's even more of a joke. Just because someone saved her life, Lu Ruyan trusts her benefactor unconditionally, without any logic. She spoils the benefactor and won't let her childhood sweetheart leave. To put it bluntly, she just wants to have it both ways. She wants both of them. She only realized at the end that the 2 people she wanted were actually one. The system still wanted to explain, because only by curing Shin Tian and letting him lie happily with Lu Ruyan could it get a generous reward, but it found that no matter how it spoke, Su Chen couldn't hear its voice. Damn, the host cut me off. I remember the system manual saying that systems could unilaterally cut off contact with the host. How come when it comes to me, everything is reversed? Meanwhile, a Lamborghini was at the gate of Mingyue Manor, passing by the departing Lu Ruyan. In the car were Wen Xiao and Xiaofian. The Wen couple had been driven to distraction these past 2 days. In one day, dozens of partners have cancelled their contracts. They'd rather pay the penalties than keep any ties with the Wen family. Wen staff are jumping ship too, pushing the already shaky Wen firm to the brink. Wen Xiao reached out to old friends, hoping they'd lend a hand. But at their level, everyone's a shark. Once they heard about Su Chen and the Wens, they all chose to side with Su Chen. With no other options left, Wen Xiao had to come apologize in person. He first tried to go through Su Chen's parents, hoping they'd persuade their son, but they shut him out. He couldn't get through to them at all. To show his sincerity, he brought his wife, Xiaofian, along, hoping to calm Su Chen's anger. As soon as they stepped out of the car, they saw Su Chen sunbathing in the courtyard. They tried to enter but were blocked by bodyguards. Ignoring his pride as an elder, Wen Xiao pleaded, "Little Chen, please open the gate. Let me explain this to you." Xiaofian didn't understand business. She was just a trophy wife. Ever since Wen Wan got engaged to Su Chen, everyone in the high city elite circle had to show her some respect. Over the years, she'd grown arrogant and spoiled. She was annoyed by Su Chen's attitude, so she tugged at Wen Xiao and whispered, "This kid is getting out of line. Seeing us here, he doesn't even bother to greet us. He actually has his guards block us. We're his elders. No matter how upset he is, Su Chen should at least show some respect." But thinking of the company's state, Xiaofian swallowed her pride and suppressed her rage. "Little Chen, open the gate first. There's a misunderstanding. Let mom explain." Though she was over 40, Xiaofian kept herself in great shape. Looking like she was in her 30s, she radiated a mature charm, appearing delicate and pitiful. Only that angry expression ruined the look a bit. Su Chen shifted his position, opening his mouth to take a grape from Yunya. "There's no misunderstanding, and nothing worth explaining. You two aren't welcome here." The bodyguards stood firm, blocking their path. Though they didn't strike, their expressions were cold. To them,
Su Chen was a god. How dare Wen betray the bot? If Su Chen hadn't given the order, they would have dumped her in the ocean already. When Xiao panicked at his words, that sentence was a death sentence for his firm. Wen will be back soon. Once she returns, you can punish her however you like. Marriage isn't a game, you know. Su Chen looked at him with amusement. That woman is off in Antarctica with Chen Xiaoyu. She won't be back anytime soon. No matter what they said, the bodyguards stood like iron towers, unmoving. The Wen family guards tried to step forward, but were instantly knocked back by 2 of Su Chen's men. 2 against 5, a total wipeout. Usually, these guards were respectful to the couple, so this sudden change in attitude left them completely stunned. Xiao Fian's temper flared. She pointed at the guards and cursed. You bunch of dogs. Get out of my way right now. I am your master's mother-in-law. You dare block me? Aren't you afraid I'll have him fire you? The bodyguards looked at each other, then burst into laughter in unison. They looked at her like she was an idiot. See? I told you, her delusions are getting even more ridiculous. She thinks she's our bot's mother-in-law? Look at her daughter. She doesn't deserve it. If Wen hadn't been so stupid, maybe she'd have a chance to be the lady of the Su house. The little perks the Wens took, Su Chen never really cared about. Even a dog you keep needs to be fed. Keeping a pretty pet and giving it some scraps was fine. But if the pet doesn't listen, that's a different sheet to read. In a fit of rage, Xiao Fian tried to slap the guard who spoke, but he grabbed her wrist before she could land it. He held her in place. Don't move, or if I break your arm, I'll just call it self-defense. The guard didn't use much force, but it made Xiao Fian turn pale. She crouched down, crying out in pain, unable to break free. Compared to the volatile Xiao Fian, Wen Xiao was much calmer. Seeing Su Chen's attitude, he knew in his heart there was no turning back. He gave up on the dream of a marriage alliance. He looked at Su Chen again. Even if Wen let you down, do you really have to destroy us completely? Su Chen patted Yunya, who was massaging his shoulders, stood up, and stretched. Destroy you? This is just standard business competition. The market is a battlefield. There's no such thing as destroying anyone. I just don't want to work with you, and I'm poaching some of your talent. In the business world, that's just basic strategy. Wen Xiao knew it too. What Su Chen was doing really didn't count as total destruction. It was just that Su Chen's status was so high that his casual moves made everyone else scramble. Regardless, the Su and Wen families have years of history. Please, show some mercy and give us a way out. Do you really need an old man to kneel before you forgive us?